project came out of a desire to do a film with Pierce that was in the espionage genre, but something different.
People love this genre when it has heart, a sense of human drama to it, intrigue.
Okay, we roll sound, please. Sound speed. Roll it.
Beau Marie St. Clair and I have had the rights to Bill Granger's November Man books for 5 years. There's 13 books, and we took from each and every one of them in little ways, but the main focus was book number 7, There Are No Spies.
The novelist Bill Granger, who'd written November Man and the books, came after John le Carré. He came in the 80s, kind of in between Clancy and Ludlum of the 90s. The books are smart. They deal with political problems of the world.
The world we live in is congealed now with secrets and politicians jockeying for power on the global stage. The geopolitical situation is very volatile.
They're not cartoony. They're very reality-based and gritty. But they have a bit of pop culture to them. They have a bit of fun, a bit of action.
We very much responded to the pace and the grittiness of Granger's writing style. The kineticism of it, the in-your-face violence. A world where violence and action is very personal and very fatal.
Granger's books show the toll of being one of these agents, one of these operatives.
He's moving.
Hold your shot. Hold your shot. Check your line of fire. Don't shoot.
No, he's moving on.
Do not shoot!
You're also asking the question, like, when have you gone too far? You do something for king and country. When is that personal price too heavy?
The lead character is known as the November Man.
You know what we used to call you, Peter?
We read it as, this is a man who is a version of death incarnate when he was doing what he was doing. Wherever he went, things died.
The November Man. Because after you passed through, nothing lived.
You know, in that le Carré way, Granger and le Carré share a kinship. There's the Cold War and the cold of the Cold War, the chilling effect of the espionage game on people's souls, and what they do to break out of it is a huge deal. So while we don't know what November Man means, it's rife with that sort of metaphor.
You played it well, though.
Did I?
I think everybody who works in the CIA thinks of themselves as really important. When you get that many people who have that many secrets, you know, what is the truth? Whose truth are you going to believe?
You, stay. Tits, back to your desk.
They're finding out things that other people might not find out. So it's a very complex and interesting world.
When I did James Bond, I remember the question, is it really necessary to have another spy movie?
The challenge with these is, how do you make a Cold War bestseller relevant in this decade?
What happened in the war in Chechnya was shocking, and to have a character like Devereaux enter into that arena and that drama, I think has a good relevance.
Having one of our main characters, Alice, running a refugee center in Belgrade is another part of that.
She escapes, she survives, and she doesn't just live a quiet life. She actually joins the community that helps victims just like her.
Where can I find her?
I told you, I don't know.
You must know something. Friends, places she frequented. People don't just disappear.
I don't know, okay? In my line of work, yes. Yes, they do. They disappear.
The book series is set in the Cold War, and had we stuck with the original, I don't think it would have been as relevant to today's audience. But changing up the locations, changing up some of the backstories of the various characters, I think makes it much more interesting. Background action. Action.
The reason we picked book 7, There Are No Spies, of all the books to launch it from, is because Devereaux has retired from the agency, and he's kind of been used up and crushed.
We're tracking a spy who has walked away from the game, a man who has lived violence, who has known violence, who has, in a way, become disheartened by what he's had to do in the name of king and country, effectively.
And we thought it was a good starting point for Devereaux to be retired, to be brought back in, to have this child, a daughter. So all the ingredients from that particular story, There Are No Spies, made sense.
We opened the movie in Lausanne in Switzerland. He's approached by his old handler, John Hanley,
That's it? No, hello, Hanley. Good to see you.
and he's asked to go back in the game. And I thought, organically, Pierce has already been in the espionage game.
For me as an actor to come back onto the stage, playing the role of a spy, having done my James Bond days,
He's reluctant to go back in, but maybe he would if he could find a character that got him to a place what he always wanted to do in Bond, darker, reality-based, grittier.
I love political thrillers, and I saw this as a really good, meaty political thriller. I was enthusiastic about shooting a film in Europe. I knew Pierce well from working with him previously, so everything conspired to make me want to do this film.
Roger Donaldson, an old friend, a great filmmaker, a wonderful storyteller. He's a great technician. He knows how to keep the drama of a scene and the logic of the narrative.
Well, he's one of the greats, isn't he? Certainly in this genre, having directed No Way Out, can't go wrong. And he happens to be friendly with Pierce because they did Dante's Peak together. And so when Pierce suggested Roger, it was a very natural fit for this movie.
You're trying to drive me crazy.
I'd seen his very famous movie No Way Out maybe 6 months before I auditioned for this movie. I loved it from the start, and every time I talk about it now, I tell people that I'm really jealous of them because they get to watch it for the first time.
Pierce is very good this way too, but Roger sets a very calm tone to allow us to create a family. No egos. It's about, let's try this, or let's do that, or how is this scene going to work? And Roger helps set that very secure place for everybody.
It's a real interesting story between duty and want and purpose, pulling each character kind of either way, causing some Hippocratic moments for people and also some very intense decisions that need to be made.
Luke was a discovery. I think we've lucked out. We must have auditioned 20 guys, and he's amazing.
Luke has been fantastic. We talked about finding a young man who could really acquit himself within the context of this, physically, emotionally.
Mason had to be capable of taking Pierce's character on and being a real threat to him.
And Luke has just been a delight. He's charged ahead with passion, humility, grace under pressure. He has the talent, the voice, he has the looks, he has the want, the desire to be up there in that arena.
Cameras cut, thank you.
Do you want the best for someone like that?
And 3, 2, 1, action. Hold it there, please. Good.
There's a struggle between a man who's almost lost his soul and is probably almost beyond redemption and his protege who's headed that way.
It becomes this devilish pursuit of me and me after him.
These two real strong personalities on an intense, basic human level really match each other.
That gives it a level of just, it's not an action movie, it's really like a psychological study. That's why it's not a normal espionage thriller.
Action.
The one thing that I try and do with my films is I try and give myself a different experience every time.
I didn't really know what drones did, and Roman never really worked with drones.
Drone technology is being talked about more and more as a means of everything from delivering packages to surveillance to camera work.
We got these amazing machines with cameras with really good stabilizers that are allowing Roman and us to get more shots that I've never even seen in a movie before.
What these new camera drones allow you to do is to shoot moving aerial shots in a confined space where you could never put a helicopter. So we're seeing shots that you couldn't do once upon a time, you know, low-level moving tracking shots. Because of the use of drone technology in military and surveillance use.
Whose car is that she got into?
Whoever it is, it's not us.
It seemed to me like a spy movie without that element would not be a spy movie that was up to date.
Roger said it, and I have said it's as good a crew as any movie I've ever worked on. Big budget, little budget.
I went here only with my usual French AC and gaffer and key grip.
I brought one set decorator from the US. My art department is 99% Serbian.
The Serbian crew are very used to work with different crew from a lot of different countries.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I would have to teach them how to do stuff or be more of an instructor, but they were teaching me things, so it was great. It was a great experience. It really was.
Sometimes people see it as a job, and the producers have to keep our passion for telling this story, but the Serbian crew kept our passion with us.
To come to Serbia, to be here in Belgrade, this cast, these people, it's been a joy.
There's nothing more exciting than meeting new actors, shooting in places you've never been to before. I mean, that's really what, for me, is the magic of the movie business.